I swear, this scandal is getting more and more messed up. So last week when I do the APB show, stream channel, like double logo subscribe, I talk about a certain hoopla that was new at the time of the stream. And ever since then, more and more new information comes up that refutes the original story and provides it with more context. So let's talk about the context. The original voice actor for Bayonetta, Helena Taylor, recently spoke out against Platinum Games and Nintendo for paying her only $4,000 for the game, especially after the initial offer was less than that. She encouraged more and more people to boycott Bayonetta 3. That's the one action that people still find debatable. Personally, just follow your own moral compass in this one. However, more and more evidence comes up and it shows that the 4,000 figure is completely misrepresented. It was actually 3,000 to 4,000 per session, and she does 5 sessions. Do the math there, guys. She then asked for a 6-figure sum and residuals, which Platinum declined. I mean, I know voice actors in the industry got a lot of whack, but even I find that way too steep. This information was confirmed not just by Bloomberg, but also by Video Game Chronicles. Her response to this whole matter is that they're lying about this matter and that she just wants to move on from the whole thing. So, who's really to believe in this situation? Honestly, I don't really know. But I do know this. She's not gonna be hired professionally as a voice actor in the gaming industry anymore. The actor for straight up breaking NDA and speaking out against this contract is absolutely wild. NDA is a serious business, and if you're known to break them, people can't trust you for it. So I assume that her doing all of this is her telling the truth. But considering that there are evidence that shows that she wasn't telling the truth, why did she do that in the first place? That's what I find baffling. That's what I find really wild. I also find it baffling when she was confronted about it. She said that she wants nothing to do with it anymore. Okay, then why make a big hoopla of this whole thing? You'd think that for someone to make a big hoopla out of this, she'd be more passionate about it, but her avoiding the topic just seems suspicious is all I'm saying. Regardless, this entire hoopla is a huge mess and people's opinions have gone wildly up and down. I'd be lying if I say that I wasn't sympathetic to Helena at first, so to see her do this absurdly stupid move, it's just baffling to me. It's all emotions, no logic, no thought for the future, no nothing. If she's lying, then her doing this move would be catastrophic for her entire career. So I don't believe she would do this if she doesn't understand the consequences. That or she actually doesn't care about the consequences. Or she doesn't actually know about the consequences. So this career move is either stupid or suicidal. Either way, employees who break contracts and NDAs tend to get a bad rap in the market. So good luck trying to find a new job when the whole world knows that you're willing to break agreements or contracts. Whatever opinions you have on this hoopla, at least we can come into one common ground. This takeover here is really stupid. For all we know, Sony could have paid her to lie about this to sabotage sales of Bayonetta 3. There's no reason for Nintendo to lie. There's no reason for Nintendo to lie.
I can't believe we keep talking about clowns.
And that's our first hoopla for the recap. But before we get to more and more hooplas, there's only one sponsor that I trust, and that is you guys. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. You guys are absolutely fantastic. If you want to see your names among these awesome people, check out the links down below so you can donate to me just $1 and you'll see your names among these amazing, and wonderful people. Again, links down below. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are fantastic. Gotham Knights should have been the game that I have always wanted. I really want to play a game that consists of nothing but members of the Bat family. Gotham Knights is close to my vision, so when they announced this game, I am kind of excited. But then I saw the gameplay and I am much less excited. The game just doesn't look that promising. It feels clunky, it's awkward, doesn't feel as smooth as the previous Batman games. Regardless, the game got into a lot of hoopla last week because the announcement that the game is only going to be able to run at 30 FPS on the consoles, but the PC can definitely run the game at 60 FPS, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. A lot of promises that console manufacturers make are making games to be at 60 FPS. Even if you're one of those people who can't tell the difference between 30 and 60, they promise that the games that were going to be released in these next-gen consoles are going to be at least have a performance mode at 60 FPS. Not to mention, the console versions cost $70, the PC, $60. I guess there's a lot more cost in console optimization. And boy, the reviews came in and people are not impressed by the game at all. On the performance side, it was not very well optimized at the top of having unimpressive graphics, especially compared to Arkham Knight, which was 7 years old. On the gameplay front, it was just meh. At best. I wish they understood that 60 FPS equals 60 milliseconds. I wish they understand that each enemy on screen takes up a chunk of that time. Each VFX spawn, each NPC. Yes, we know. More and more resources and more loads given to the game means less frames being rendered. That's why we have performance mode. We have the option to reduce the stuff that we don't need. We don't need global illumination. We don't need ray tracing, which apparently the game turns on by default in the consoles? Yeah, no wonder why the frame rate is being ripped apart. But then there's this take. I wish gamers understood that things like lighting and illumination are gameplay features. Sorry, Gotham Knights, but you are not Thief. You are not Splinter Cell. Lighting and illumination aren't important in a Batman game. While many of the previous Batman games are stealth-focused, it's not the shadows that matter, it's the visibility. The game mostly takes place in the night, but Gotham's nighttime is pretty bright. It's not like Robert Pattinson's Batman. I don't know if you knew this, but $60 in 2000 is $93 now due to inflation. Yeah, and game distribution for all sorts of games were really difficult back then. That's why they're pretty expensive, and games today are cheaper. We're undercharging you for games and have been for 2 decades. Pay us what we're worth! So, let me get this straight. You want us to pay you $70 for games that can only run at 30 FPS and consoles that promise to run games at 60 FPS.
That's no good.
Esports is a rather competitive venture that not a lot of people are interested in joining, especially women. Apparently, an entire Valorant team and a head coach for Rising Hope left the organization unanimously on account of another coach showing his junk life on Discord. And you wonder why gaming is not welcoming to women. Yeah, so basically, during a Discord call, one of the coaches said that he should show his junk. Not exactly the most appropriate action to take, especially considering that this person is surrounded by women who are definitely not interested in seeing or entering your pants. Seriously, the fact that this person thinks that he has a chance for doing this is kind of sad. Not to mention, it's rather unprofessional for trying to bone your players, but hey, doesn't stop people from doing so. More inappropriate stuff continues. Apparently, when everyone was on mute and playing the games, Simon, the coach, would speak in Russian and they had a hard time listening to the footsteps, which is pretty crucial in a game like Valorant. But then he repeated the same statement that said that he needed to show his junk. And then he turned on the camera and he actually showed his junk.
Hey, did you see what I just saw?
I think I did, but I wish I didn't.
Unfortunately, a lot of players are using dual monitors so they can see them very clearly. Of course, hearing about this whole news, the organization decided to boot off the female players and the other coach that complained about Simon who showed his junk. Wait, what?
You went full retard, man.
Only after more and more backlash from people, they finally booted off the coach that showed his junk. I mean, seriously, sometimes having an all-female team on a male-dominated hobby can lead to dumbasses like these. Activision Blizzard just cannot get themselves off of scandals, can they? There's another lawsuit that pretty much alleges that one of the former managers were sexually harassing women. The allegations consist of the former manager doing all sorts of unsolicited, horny stuff with his female employees, specifically this Jane Doe person. Despite being rejected, he keeps on going and say, "One day, you'll give in." Sounds like an abuse of power to me. But then things get to a straight-up criminal peak when the manager threatens to expose compromising photos of Miss Jane Doe, the employee that received the harassment. If I were in her position, I'd call his bluff because what he's about to do is straight-up criminal offense. He might as well threaten to burn down her house. And she suffered through all of that while being underpaid as a worker at the same time. To which he promptly asks her to suck his junk off if she wants to get fairly paid. But hey, all of this doesn't stop the Blizzard fanboys for playing their games. Seriously, it's absolutely nuts how much money Blizzard makes, despite the allegations and the news surrounding them being spread around like wildfire. Genuine question, you posted this from a phone, right? Do you think the labor involved in producing this product was done so ethically? No, it's not. It's impossible to have an ethical consumption under capitalism because a lot of workers do tend to get abused for profits, and we tend to use all sorts of very essential products that are produced by those abused workers. The difference is, video games are not essential products! But hey, keep defending the big mega corporation that harasses their workers. Still won't touch any of their games, I'm too busy to play them anyways, and there haven't been any games that rather pique my interest as of late. Mostly because the entertainment industry is a dumpster fire, and I'd rather sit back and watch it burn while I keep on binging, Supernatural. It's kind of nuts how one's insecurity can be displayed by everyone. If I see you flexing with loads and loads of cash, expensive cars, and beautiful women, I don't see someone who is rich and successful. I see someone who desperately needs to prove to everyone that they are. And the more and more you try to validate your insecurity, the more and more it will bite you in the back later. Like this person, for example, who had a text with this other girl. The guy in question is only 5'8". For the record, I thought I was 6 foot, but I miscalculated by 2 inches. I'm actually 6'2". Nah, just kidding. I'm 5'10". So yeah, you're shorter by 2 inches, and I'm shorter by 2 inches of the women's gold standards for men, which is that they're above 6 foot. If your standard for men is that they're above 6 foot, then I will also apply the same standard to you and have your boobs to be a D cup. That's how a relationship works, ladies. You ask me for something, I'll ask you for something. Anyway, this person was in disbelief that this woman is swiping right at a person who is 5'8". So he kept on continuing to show his insecurity and his lack of confidence of his height. He just went on to complain about how women rejected him. He kept on whining and whining until the girl eventually unmatched him. He had one job, and he screwed it up big time. Just talk to her like a normal person, for God's sake. People generally like other people that can get a hold of themselves and get their crap together. In other words, confident and independent. Complaining about your life to other people and how it sucks and have them to listen to you drone about it all day long is not attractive at all. Stop whining. Have some confidence on yourself and don't present yourself to the world as if you're some fragile snowflake that can get insulted by a mere comment on your physical appearance. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have these women that do nothing but reinforce this misogynistic thoughts to everyone. Real life tsunderes. No! The guy I kept rejecting finally moved on. Yes, lady, the guy that you rejected finally moved on. That's what happens to you if you reject him. This is what happens with real life tsunderes. If you keep on rejecting the person that you like, that person is going to make the logical conclusion that they don't like you and move on to someone else. The one person to blame in that situation is you. That's how you know he wasn't serious in the first place. And on the other side of the spectrum, incels would tell the person that they're looking to date with an ugly bitch. See what I mean when these two are the opposites of the extremes? I rejected this sweet guy various times, then couple months later, he's dating someone new. Saw him on the train with her after school. Then once I got home, I cried. Ooh.
May you rest in peace, Owen.
Why he gotta give up? So that he doesn't serve your entitled butt. Why do you think he's gonna give up? I'm playing this.
Okay, master. Let's kill the whole beast!
Apparently, the thumbs up emoji is offensive. Gen Z says they feel attacked whenever they see a passive-aggressive thumbs up emoji. Okay, so it's offensive within a certain context, therefore ban every usage in every context. A 24-year-old on Reddit summed up the Gen Z argument saying it's best never used in any situation as it is hurtful. You do realize that by saying what you're offended by on the internet, people are gonna use that against you. Others agreed that it's bad form, especially at work. Bad form, especially at work? What do you mean? My workplace group uses emojis all the freaking time. It's just an emoji. My last workplace has a WhatsApp chat for our team to send info at each other, and most of the people on there just replied with a thumbs up. I don't know why, but it seemed a little bit hostile to me. Maybe because it's not hostile. I'm playing this.
Hostile? I see hostile.
And I think that wraps up the Hooplas for this week. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my stream channel. Link down below. Come on, guys. Seriously, go subscribe. APB show coming up in just a couple of hours. And I'll see you all in the next one.